going to be a slobber knocker. Brains versus Brawn. Who's going to come out on top, and who is going to be handed their first loss on the split? Two new organizations coming into this league, snapping up. The power players. And Nesty rocking some very, very fashionable jammies.
I think you're pretty familiar with this skin.
Yeah, as I am a avowed Yordle spammer in TFT, and everyone knows it at this point. It's the only kind of Vagar I recognize.
Interestingly enough, with the different skin, we also get to see a different summoner choice. Usually we've seen a fair amount of Predator when it comes to the Vagar. This time around, he's gone for Unsealed Spellbook, which may allow him to survive that level 6 burst. Getting that exhaust or barrier or heal might make the difference in making sure he survives some of these trades.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting micro variation there. Now,
interesting.
CFO, CFO are really taking aggressive stances, and they've punished in 3 different roles right now. As Hana moves down towards the bottom side and starts off on his Gromp. He just says, "Give up, let me lane, let me lane." Certainly not taking a moment to waste and getting aggressive before the minions even hit the rift, and that is the long leash there for Woody and Kriskata. It does mean Atlan and Koala can sit there in the brush and wait and bait at the moment, and I think they might try to get the jump on him with the fast level 2 or level 1. That's not going to happen though.
Leaky is trying to trade his health bar. He wants to avoid that auto as much as possible against Rest, because that's the big thing. You get that extra burn from your passive, which makes the trade a whole lot better in your favor. And right now it's just them trading auto attacks. Eventually Rest will win out on that trade because he does have triple potions along with biscuits. As the Gnar, you're not going to go for the biscuits because it gives mana. That wastes like half your stats there in that case. So eats the barrel chain as well.
That was so fast from Rest.
There we go. This is what we want Rest to do. This is what we expect to see from our best top laner. And Leaky concedes. Has to concede level 2. Hopefully, he's going to hit level 2 shortly, but it's just a matter of it feels like you've already lost so much of this lane already.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a tough one for Leaky right now, and obviously the experience gap is there too, and Leaky's opted into this matchup, but I think we should start to see the pushback. Nesty, he himself is getting pushed back, does manage to waddle away from the Scout of the Week. Bit of a rare miss from Mission on that one, but Nesty is he's a slippery Yordle for sure.
Yeah, all 3 of these lanes are going to be lanes to watch, which is not something you would say, but Hana making this move up in his top lane as Rest is very pushed up.
Ad burns a flash for pretty much nothing. That was a really good trade there for Deep Cross.
Very, very well done there, taking advantage of where that wave was positioned. Couldn't get that wave crashed, and because Gemini was bot side, he had to do it himself, and that ends up having to pay the flash there in that instance. It does mean Gemini has a pretty sizable individual lead, as he is camp up here in this instance and will be able to get the double scuttle. Also looking to seal away Raptors, perhaps, as he's going to wait in the bush. He's going to get a
spy Hana. Oh, waiting and baiting, and there we go. The jig is up. He was in your jungle all along. Koala is coming up here as well, and Mission was actually caught out in the Vygar cage. Otherwise, that could have been a little worse for Hana, potentially. But he's out of there. Unfortunately, has to give up his camp.
Yeah, good posturing coming in from Nesty to really stifle the rest of that play from going south in that instance. And it will just be Hana having to concede a lot of the jungle. And that's a nice lead gained by Gemini with the golden EXP.
Oh yeah, it's a good start. You did talk about how this every lane is one to watch, and I think that's very true. It's not a normal statement to make. Usually you want to identify 1 or 2, but I feel like there is just so much explosive potential everywhere here. Up top side, things have settled down just a little bit, and Leaky has built up a big lead off the back of Hana's earlier intervention. But at the same time, you can see this mid lane seriously pushed in for Nesty. Hana could try to make a play on it. Mission You know, he has Flash, but no other inbuilt escapes. He would have to rely on a Scout of the Week, and there's the cage. Scout of the Week does land, but he's sitting on the outside and waits just in time to follow through, and the Flash is followed. Oh! Mission, is he going to get away? No! That's first blood to the Vigar, and Nesty says, my 2v2 is better than yours.
I mean, when it comes to a mid-jungle 2v2 against a mid-support, I think the mid-jungle wins that every single time. They're able
it's a little stacked, to be fair.
They are able to get the wave crashed in, and while Mission doesn't miss a whole lot, at least it resets the wave state. And I mean, he just has to flash way earlier. The fact that he just doesn't respect it is, I mean, perhaps he wasn't expecting Mission to be there, but there's really no reason for Nesty to just drop the baby cage like that without a reason besides someone else coming over.
Yeah. Still, though, that's the play. You know, want to try and shut down Mission. Definitely one of the biggest threats on this squad. And Gemini is going to take advantage of the back timings to start off the Dragon, so CFO will get something for their trouble, bringing Atlan and Mission as well. This is pretty telegraphed, but there's not a whole lot that DCG can do to stop it. All the same, though, I think they will be pretty happy with First Blood and the tempo. Again, the swing up topside was so huge here. And on the back timers, you see the difference in items as well, with Leaky just coming out ahead after that earlier intervention and keeping Rest on the back foot.
Yeah, and now he does, he still has Flash while Rest does not, and that's why DCG are looking for a roam play up into this top side. They have more than enough lockdown for it.
Yeah, that's going to be the Gnar against the wall. The barrels and the cannons do not do enough, and they just walk through the fire. Cool guys don't need to look at explosions, and 2-0 for DCG. So far, Brains are winning in this one, Nightstar.
They are. Indeed, they are. And it was a little bit telegraphed, I will say, from DCG that they wanted to make a play, but the answer's coming.
Yeah, although they turned the damage on, a great flame
that's a reset.
Can they actually do more? The unleash power is going to be enough to finish the job, but Woody's still threatening. This is going to be at least a plate or two. I feel like trading that, though, 1 for 1, that's not bad on a dive. Meanwhile, Rest is not going to get a whole lot of rest in this one. Hana and Leaky, big Mega Gnar, ground pound, good night.
Yeah, and this follow-up kill on Rest is absolutely devastating, because now he's going to lose even more waves to that tower. He's going to lose a lot of EXP, and this Gnar is going to be incredibly annoying to deal with, especially now that he's probably has Hull Breaker completed, which means he can just continue to do a lot of this dirty farming because he gets the extra resistances. And I mean, Rest knows all about dirty farming, and he's about to get done dirty coming in from this Gnar.
Yeah, by the way, while that was all happening, DCG actually were able to, not cleanly, but sneak away the Rift Herald, but they do lose Woody in exchange for it. I think they will be willing to take that trade and have the sacrificial cow in that case, but yeah, at this point, Hana is kind of like Leaky's lane support. You know, he's been sacrificing a lot of his own jungle in order to do this. He's still at, like, even on levels with Gemini, but he's just not been able to keep up in the farm game. But he doesn't need to, right? I mean, the longer this game goes, it's going to favor the Zins out anyways from an item and stat standpoint. But Hana is just dead set on helping Leaky shut down Rest. Delay and deny this game playing. They're going to try to do the same thing to Mission, neutralizing 2 of those threats. Then what have you got? It's Atlan. It's just the Aphelios. And of the 3 carries on this squad, he certainly is the weak point. As we mentioned, he's been stepping up, but still, I really like this game plan from Deep Cross. They have done their homework. They're playing the 3D chess right now as best as they can.
Yeah, and the big thing here, as we get to see Leaky actually establish a freeze, that'll be absolutely critical here and just deny more away from this gangplank, is the fact that they've identified what are the 2 carries that can possibly play the game and make things difficult for us. It's the Gangplank and the Syndra. They have the range. They have the abilities to deal with us, but when it comes to this Aphelios, there's almost no way for him to play the game against Jinx and Veigar. So we need to worry less about him. Of course, he has that pop-off potential still. It's not like he's a zero damage threat, but the opportunity to capitalize and really snowball this game off of stifling those two carries first just really skyrockets.
Absolutely. Gonna be able to cut the wave down a little bit as it pushes in. That forces the back. No opportunity for CFO to make a play down bot, and Hana was there waiting in the wings. They need to use this Herald, though. It's been a little bit of time that they want to go ahead and put that one on the ground. Looks like... where is Hana on the map right now? Looks like he had gone back. Oh, no, he's going to stay with the team right now. I think they can drop this, take advantage of the timing. This is actually really smart. They're going to get some plates off this for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be... Okay, so Cressada actually... So, interestingly enough, he goes in, gets the one auto, which guarantees the fact that he will get the gold split with Hana. And it also means he doesn't have to stick around. Overstay his welcome in that instance. 20 seconds until that next dragon does spawn. Leaky getting more damage down. Hull Breaker gets some harass down before the Banganar expires. So this is all in all really, really nice from DCG. They've set themselves up. Yes, the gold lead isn't like crazy or anything, but that's credit to CFO being able to lane very well, and that's what we expect this roster to do as well.
Yeah, identifying the threats and trying to neutralize them. Now Gemini's going to try and force the issue here, but the baby cage comes down, and Gemini unfortunately just can't do much. He can't break through those bars. That just denies it. I mean, it's an interesting bit of CC that the Veigar packs in his kit. It's a very frustrating champion kit to play against. Now, CFO will be able to take out this dragon, but they may not get away with it cleanly. Here's Cressada looking to try for the snipe. That would be very optimistic. Nesty sniffs too far forward, and that's the opportunity. Whoa, he flashes the wall! And he may not escape as Mission follows him forward. There's the cage. He tries to limp away, and I think he's going to do it. Woody, meanwhile, is also tanking up, and Hana is going to sacrifice his life for the cause to Atlan. Well, I still think that's maybe not worth because he didn't have to, but Nesty got out.
Yeah, that was absolutely not worth, because if they had gotten the dragon, then you can make the argument, right? You go 1-for-1 dragon for kill. But in this instance, the side of CFO, they were the ones to secure themselves that dragon, which means, oh wow, that damage.
I think Rest is getting angry.
And that is without the Trinity Force completed. We're going to see the replay. It is just going to be them getting that smite, and I mean, DCG are just late to the party. They're not grouped up, and I mean, this escape from Nesty, very, very good. But he does have to expend a lot to get out. Stopwatch, heal, flash, everything had to be tossed out, and then Hana goes for a very optimistic, per se.
I think Hana forgot that he'd been spending most of the early game just like hand-holding Leaky. Like, there are Lee Sins who can get that execution, but you are not one of them right now.
Yeah, the state of the game does not allow you to one-shot the Philios right now. It is not very easy.
Yeah. Well, even the brains make mistakes sometimes. That is going to be advantage CFO, but the gold game is dead even, and it is the Hextech Rift. Oh, it's so fun to see.
Yep, going for an angle here. We'll see if okay. Hana now spotted out. Will most likely kind of diffuse the play here, although it might also force CFO to just back off of this turret, as they do have level 6 on Woody.
Well, they want to get Atlan. That's going to be the headbutt pulled, and the knock-up for days. They just take him down. Nesty was waddling in as well, but meanwhile, you've got Leaky being fired down on top. He has no Meganar, no flash, and no health bar as he's taken out by Rest. A little bit of turnabout is fair play there in the top side.
Risky teleport.
That is a little risky for sure. Mission did not opt to ult. I think he was afraid of Nesty's R button.
I mean, he didn't quite have lethal there because of the fact that it is Merc Treads coming out onto Nesty, so the extra magic resistance is going to be enough to keep him alive, but at the same time takes a very large chunk of damage, and it's really just an exchange of sides. DCG attacking that bottom half of the map, and Leaky left as sacrifice, but now making a play in this mid lane. They will disengage as that Gangplank ultimate does come down. Very long cooldown expended, and we get to see the replay on how this top lane went down.
No vision at all right now. Leaky overplayed his hand.
He gets a little overly excited in this instance. Didn't have the backup from his team, and a nice flash forward from Gemini guarantees the knockup, and that guarantees the kill as well.
It was still a little bit closer than I think CFO would have been happy with, but at the same time, they do manage to start turning it. Trinity Forces come in for the Gangplank. And of course, they do have the Dragon Stack, right? This is going to be a Hextech Rift, so this is a really good one for a team that wants to dish the damage. You're going to get that extra chain slow, the old static Shiv style ability. And that might make it a little easier to hunt down some of these deep cross members. It's a very important soul to try and stack on. Shelly popped a little bit out in the river, but this should be enough to take tower.
Yep.
And there it goes.
It will be enough to delete the tower. Nesty will be able to answer on the
Second
flip
charge.
side, but they don't have an answer for the second charge. Now, do CFO try and continue to push the issue?
I think he's trying to stack Narbar. Although he doesn't have it in time, this is a little bit scuffed. He's going to back away.
Doesn't have flash.
He's going to try to just throw Big Ben at him, I think. That's enough to send a message.
It's another one. Do they continue to chase? That's the question.
3 on Gemini.
Hits 3 for 3. You know, downtown,
Meanwhile,
not bad, but Rest able to answer on the flip side.
Yeah, so basically the job of both these top laners is going to vary a little bit. Rest is going to be able to be involved in lanes while not actually being in lanes, thanks to that cannon barrage, but Nesty trying to stay safe from Friscata. Ooh, a little bit of a risky run here. Pops the cleanse, that's why you pack it as a jinx. But it does open up CFO to start on this. Oh, Hana takes the Hex Gate?
Sure, if he wanted to go there.
He left
Nesty's
Nesty out to dry. That's a dangerous situation for Deep Cross here. They're limping away. Meanwhile, Rest has cut them off. And the barrels are there. This is going to be dangerous unless they can take him out first. They do actually pop the barrel.
Cut off?
I think Rest is going to die, but Hana does as well. There's no way they can contest this dragon right now. Nesty's still trying to do the work for Skada. Got the kill credit on that one, but can they clean this up right now? Gemini with the Crescent Guard. It's Atlan that takes down Woody. Friscata and Leaky has Meganar. Koala. There he goes.
I don't think he can chase, though.
They can't take Dragon. That's the critical thing.
Yeah, and I mean, when all's said and done, it's an even trade, 2 for 2. And it means we get to have a rerun of this exact fight because no one's able to take the dragon, which means that objective is still up. And that means both teams are interested in trying again.
This was...
I think he wanted to auto the ward, and as a result, he autoed the portal. A little bit tragic.
Oh, here we go again, by the way, down bot. DCG secure that fast. Get the dragon.
Yeah, they just turn on it immediately. CFO not quite there to respond. And it's really unfortunate because as we look in the replay, you can also see how many blue wards they invested into this fight to try and set up for this dragon. And it's going to kind of come down all for naught. As Cristado, he gets the reset and understands he can't go any further. Leaky almost baits himself in.
Just a little bit, but they were able to hold on for the time being.
Okay.
Okay. A lot of damage
coming
out of Hana in that
rest.
one. Yeah, actually really impressive damage numbers on Hana, considering he set himself a little behind earlier. So as we get closer to this 20-minute mark, the game kind of swings on a knife's edge. It's a 500 gold lead for CFO, but Deep Cross have managed to cut off the Drake stack. They've secured the first Hex Tech. We could be in for quite some more game yet here, Nightstar.
Yeah, and this Hextech Dragon is pretty spicy when it comes to everyone in this game because of the extra ability haste. It means that Nesty can continue spamming out the baby cages. Also, a lot of his abilities are pretty low cooldown once he gets more and more levels, so he's going to be spamming out the really all his damage abilities along with that Event Horizon very, very readily. And then the extra attack speed will help out Cristata in just pumping out more damage. He's got a very, very high damage build, and the extra attack speed, of course, will help him get that first reset.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Very valuable dragons to keep securing, and both teams certainly wanting to pick them up, so we'll have to keep an eye down in that side of the pit for the rest of the game. Baron also hit the Rift now, but at the same time, nobody is going to be rushing the big purple worm. Taking a look at the item spread, just about everybody's on their mythics at this point. But the supports, of course. We had seen that a little while ago.
Yeah,
I feel like Cristata on this Kraken Slayer is going to be...
He is primed to pop off.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's going to be a bit more of a threat than Atlan at the moment. That... Also, his summoner choices, I think, have paid off a little bit more. Cool. Yeah, you take red buff. That's fine. You can do that when you're Syndra. You're allowed to grab them in the Pokeball and toss them wherever you want, even if they reset. Remember when you could do that to the Baron? Good times. Oh, Cannon Barrage.
That's an ult invested.
It's going to be the turn. Gemini actually gets turned away, but look at the low health bars. Cristata trying to lift back, and he's walking away from everything, but not the final shot from Atlan. And CFO go on the charge to take down Nesty. He throws down the cage, but Gemini says, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Yeah, and Leaky, I mean, he had the teleport, but didn't pull the trigger fast enough. And it was really nice engage call coming in from CFO. They're going to try and transition this into the Baron buff. We'll see if Hana can pull off a steal or stop the Baron attempt.
They see him coming a mile away, though. Unfortunately, that ward right on top and nothing doing. That will be Baron, and CTBC flying Oyster going to feel pretty happy about that. They do lose a tower, I believe, that Leaky just took down, but we'll take that trade.
Damage in that last fight. Okay, damage graphs coming out, and I mean...
Gangplank online.
Yeah, that Gangplank doing a lot of damage. A lot of that coming in from the ultimate, of course. Hitting 3 members and doing a lot of work with that.
Yeah,
but
this is where that damage comes in.
Yeah, the slow that comes out creates enough there for them to continue to chase after. And here's the thing. They do expend a lot of resources to make this play happen. So while DCG carries are also summonerless, the side of CFO force... I mean, that's pretty much one of the few tools they have to force the fight. So thankfully, Koala does have his flash back up now. So look for him to be the main playmaker. And now Koala does have a decent flank, but he could get caught out.
Yeah, Leaky's on top of a Mega Narbar, almost full.
Ooh,
Gemini reveals himself. I feel like Koala's cut off here, but Rest is also there. This is a bit of a wonky situation. I think Rest is going to get turned on. Let's see if he can actually hold on. Huge ultimate to cut down some health bars, and now Gemini's come to the rescue. Oh man, this game really just turns on a knife's edge.
Oh, this is so damn exciting. Both teams are playing really, really well and trying to take advantages of the openings that they are being given. Now, Nesty really making a point to secure this blue buff. I think, okay, so Cristata actually gets it, which is a little bit unfortunate for Nesty, but at the same time, you like the extra mana. Ooh, okay, this could be a big
No Megadar!
That is a massive thing.
Yeah, that's going to turn into Hextech Drake really quickly right there. Unfortunate for Leaky, he had run out of Narbar and he stepped just a toe out of line. So, optimistic, Jinx Rocket Steel. We haven't really seen those paying off a whole lot, but timing just not there. And CFO go up to Soul Point. The next 5 minutes are going to turn quite a lot for this game.
That will be incredibly tense for this next fight, which will either happen around the Baron buff, or it's going to happen around this Dragon Soul. So, okay. Spawning out Koala. Woody goes ahead. Just ground pounds him and says, see you later.
He's still able to roam through, but CFO definitely flexing at the moment. Going to let this slow push with the Baron-empowered minions take over and try to open up more gold on the map, try to open up more of the DCG jungle. Already kind of owned it at the moment as they have the priority. working on this Baron power play. They'd love to break into the base, but it's not as simple as all that, and DCG can still fight back.
Yeah, and the big thing here is now Leaky, when he's forced in a position to group up with the team, he's put in a really difficult spot, right? Because all of a sudden he's lost a lot of the effectiveness coming in from your hull breaker item. Yes, it is incredibly stat efficient when you're sitting on a side lane by yourself, but the opposite is true. When you are grouped up with your team, you lose a lot of stats, and now they're going for yet another pick attempt onto Rest. He kicks him towards his team, but the follow-up's not quite there.
Oh, look at that damage!
And Hana could be dead.
Hana walks away, but he needs to have some help from Leaky and Woody, and all this damage, they have to spend so much to get him. Oh boy, but they do in the end.
They are able to get the pick. It's not going to turn into anything. It's really just a moment of frustration, you might say, coming in from DCG.
Stops the push,
because
I guess.
This gangplank has been a pain in their behind when it comes to starting some of these fights because of the zone control provided by that ultimate. And while Rest has died 4 times, he's been a very critical part in being in CFO able to set up these fights.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let that scoreline fool you, right? Rest has certainly been one of the strongest members of this team, and he's received a consummate amount of Deep Cross's attention, and that's one of the reasons he's 2-4. But Gangplank definitely dishing the serious damage now. Everyone from Deep Cross getting in position. It's going to be a Baron in a minute 10, and then a minute after that, it is Soul Point for CFO.
And one of the things, of course, we do have to keep track of, it's been a little bit late, 27 minutes into the game, but we do need to keep track of those Nesty stacks. Last it showed, it was 175. That's fairly low stacks, considering the time of the game. You're looking at about 10 a minute. So you would be expecting about, well, 270-ish there. So he is very far when it comes to getting things stacked up here. He's not going to have that same pop to him, especially when you look at his build. Going for the Zania second, it's a very much utility-focused build here. And that means these baby cages have to land on multiple members and have to be precise.
It also means that the heavy lifting is going to have to be done even more by Cryscata right now, and he has been targeted out quite a bit. They have the setup to let him dish out massive damage, but he's still only a 2-item Jinx. We need to see this Infinity Edge come in, and he's just not at the same level that Atlan is at the moment. So DCG, they need to buy time. They also need to finish a fight, but they're running out of it because there is Baron on the Rift. There is going to be another Hextech Drake. There's really no way to handshake this right now because CFO are forcing the issue.
Yeah, only sitting on 10.5k gold for Cryscata. Going to be a little bit he's getting close to that Infinity Edge, but not quite there. Hana's dead.
Hana. Yeah, nowhere to go, and that means no smite fight. That also opens the floodgates. Goodbye, Cryscata. Rest is taking so much of this right now. Double kill comes in as Mission evaporates Woody. Gemini takes down Misty. And yeah, Leaky knows. Wave the white flag. It feels over.
That is indeed the game right then and there. Leaky tagged by the barrel as well. That means Rest is going to have the ability to run him down. Gets yet another slow, but the objective isn't the Gnar, it's the Nexus as they turn their attention towards that Nexus. So you can see Rest, the absolute superstar of these fights, even though the KDA does not show it. That's going to be them being able to finish off the big game. They're going to try one last-ditch attempt, but it's too little, too late.